Thank you for coming back to my channel. Are you a lawyer, or are you related to an advocate, or are you someone who always religiously follows the circular given by government? Well, if any of the answer is yes, the video is absolutely for you. This use case revolves around downloading the circular that the Supreme Court of India publishes. What we are going to do is that we are going to retrieve the circulars that are published today or that are going to be implemented after today. So we will create a bot which will use surface automation, which is an excellent technique of spying a website slash application by itself, and you don't need to do much hassle for it. UiPath has a lot of activities and packages for you. Make the use of all the activities effectively. So, what is surface automation? It means that instead of writing any backend code like Excel or reaching out to Word document, we are going to interact with a surface or a screen that can be either a browser or it can be of an application that you would like to automate. We will deep dive around this in our video. So stay tuned and let's get started.
Let's create a new blank task and let's call it download circulars, surface automation, and let's say create. Okay, so let's open the URL from where we need to download our circulars. This is the one. Okay, so now we are going to perform surface automation on this particular URL. Let's see how easy it is using the UiPath Studio X. So the first and foremost thing that we would need is the application slash browser scope. So I'm going to drag that here. And as you can see, it clearly asks indicate an application to automate or drag a screen. So what I'm going to do is indicate the application. Yep, highlighted it. And it automatically picked up the URL that we have. It automatically picked up that we are working on Google Chrome. Wow, that's the fastest we can get. Now, what we need to do is we need to select the circulars that have been published, correct? So, how do we identify that and how do we read this? What we need to do for this one is first, let's pick up for each UI element. Now, you must be wondering why for each UI element. As you will notice, there are multiple circulars over here. Per date, they are generating one or the other circular, and we need to perform the same activity. We need to click each of the circular given here, download it, save it, correct? So, for that purposes, for each of this row, I want to download or I want to perform an action on it. So, for each of my UI element. Now, which UI element? So again, I'm going to do the same activity, indicate in Chrome. Here, I'm going to say click add UI element. And here, I'm going to highlight this particular section. So now what you would notice is that the other circulars automatically got highlighted. So that's what they are saying. Check if the highlighted elements are correct or not. They have automatically highlighted similarly looking elements. Okay, so I'm just going to say yes. And at the same time, I'm going to set the limit of max UI elements that I need to read. So I think that per day, maximum 30 circulars can be out. So I'm just going to mark 30 as my number. So what does that mean is that 1 to 30 rows by default we are anyways going to read. So now I'm done with my selection. I'm going to say finish the selection and save the same. Okay. All right. Now let's go back to our website. As you can notice that there are circulars given and the heading also has the date when the circular is going to be implemented from. So here you'll notice 16 July, 16 July, 18th of July. So there is no point of reading the circulars which are backdated because we'll be running this automation daily. So my essence is only to read the automation circulars which are either published today or which are going to be applicable after today. So that's my first goal. Now, how do I do so? So first of all, let's see that what are we reading from this UI elements collection. For that, I'm going to say get text and get text under UiPath UI automation. All right, so this is because we are talking about surface automation, we need to pick the activities from this particular package. And I'm going to save this as text from website. And I'm going to save it. Also, I need to understand what am I reading. So I'm going to just log the message info and I'll be marking it as use the variable text from the website. Since we do not want to read all the elements right now, I'm going to quickly reconfigure the number of elements that I need to read. I'm just going to mark it as 2 for now. Okay, now let's run. Okay, so as you notice that the browser was already open, it did not reopen the same website. Instead, it saw that, hey, the browser is anyways available. Let's start working on the same. So let's see in our output. All right, so this is the notice that I am getting, which says that notice regarding so and so. And at the end, I can see that the date has also correctly captured. Now that is 16th of July. And there is one more that is for 18th of July. So the first two items have got read correctly. So what I'm going to do is that only for the circulars that are printed today are the ones that I need to utilize. So to get that, what I would do is that I would just get this text, retrieve the date which is at the end of this particular heading, and compare it with today's date. Compare whether the date that I'm retrieving from this text is equals to today or is it greater than today. If and only if it is equal to today and greater than today, then download the circular. Otherwise, leave it as it is. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the substring of all the titles that I have. But before I do that, what I need to do is I need to convert this text from website into a text format. Now you may be wondering why so. So let's quickly go to our data manager. And when you see text from website, it's the data type object. So it's not string as expected. So first, what I'm going to do is set the variable value. I'm going to call you, I'm going to create a new variable, convert data to string of type text. And the variable that I'm going to assign is text from website. Okay. Now I need to get the substring, just the date portion, which is coming at the last. So for that, again, create a variable. So date from text. Okay. And what am I going to do is open advanced editor. Here I'm going to say convert dot substring. Substring, I would again take the length minus 11 slash 11. And I'm going to call the function convert dot string dot length. So you may be wondering, what have I done? So let me quickly explain you. If you notice, the date appears at the end. Here, if you notice the new ticker, it's not getting read in a UI element. We are just reading the text. Now, how many digits are these? So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, hyphen is 5, 6, 7, 8, hyphen again 9, 10, and 11. So what I'm doing is that extract the whole length. So that may be something, let's say 50. Then what I'm doing is 50 minus 11. So this is the position that I get. And then from this position, read ahead 11 elements. So I'm just extracting my date. So the length function in UiPath reads from left to right, and that's why I did not have an option of starting from back of the string. Instead, what I had to do is that give the entire length, subtract the elements that I want to extract, so length minus 11, and then from there just read the 11 position. So that's what has happened in our date from text. I'll just save it. To make sure that this has read correctly, I'm again going to log a message, info, and the variable that I'm going to use is the date that I've extracted from the text. Now this time I'm just going to close this browser, save it, and let's run. Yes, so both the dates have been extracted correctly. 18th of July 2022, which is at the end of this particular title, and 16th of July 2022, which is end of this title. It's perfect. So the essence of retrieving the date is that we should only read the circulars, the ones which are active today and after today. Perfect. The next action that we need to do is put an if condition, that if and only if the date is today or it is greater than today, then only read the circular. Now, what am I going to do over here is condition builder, quickly use the variable date from text and equals to greater than, and I'm going to put the time as today. All right. But we are not done here. Now, the reason being the date that we have pulled is in a text format, right? It's not in the date format. So what I'm going to just quickly do is I'm going to convert this date, which is in text format. Now I'm going to convert it into the date format. Okay. And so the function I'm going to use is cDate. So it will actually compare the dates, the one that we have extracted from the website and today's date. What am I then going to do is that let's again log a message just to make sure that for which dates our conditions have met. I'm going to say info. I'm again going to just say open editor and I'm going to write condition met. I'm just going to write date from text. Okay. And I'm also going to do the same in my else, where I'm going to say if the dates do not match, then display a message saying that the condition has not met. And again, print the date. I'm quickly going to go to my UI element over here, edit the configuration, and I'm going to increase the number to say, let's say 10. Okay. Now let's run. Before we run, I'm just going to delete the data over here. Now let's run the output. Okay, so now this is my output. Here, as we can see that 18 July, the condition has met, 16 July, the condition hasn't met, and so on for each of the dates that were earlier than today, the condition has not met for them. All right. So what do we do if the condition has met? What we are going to do is download the particular circular, save it in a folder, right? How do we do so? So let me say click. And before I click anything, let us open the URL that we had. So here is our web page. Now what we need to do is we need to click this particular item. So the current element, and we just need to do a single click. So this is the one I have selected. Now what I need to do is I need to download this. So again, I need to add a click button. And in this click, I need to clear the value. And again, I'm going to indicate it in Chrome. I'm going to highlight the download button and the anchor is the printer because they are often together. Targets and anchors are okay. So let's confirm. Okay. So now let's go back again. What happens when I select the printer button? A dialog box opens up and I want to save it into a particular folder. So here I want to type my folder name. So the activity that we'll be using is type into. Again, we need to highlight it into our screen. So indicated here, this is the place where I need to type it into. And I am going to put it as this and confirm. Here I need to mention the value that I want to type. So I'm going to paste the particular folder that I want. You can also use a variable here. And let's not forget that after giving the text, you need to press enter. So let's quickly press enter using the special keys. Let's save it. So if I were to give the folder path correctly, I need to select the save button. So let's go back and get the activity for click. Again, let's clear the value, indicate in Chrome. So save, and my anchor is cancelled because they always are together. Targets and anchors are okay. So let's confirm. Done. Now what happens when I actually save it? Okay, the PDF is downloaded and it's automatically scanning. So my antivirus is scanning if the file is right or wrong. Now, while this is happening, our automation cannot go back because it would try to go to the new tab that we have, but because of the scan, it will not be able to move. So I need to wait until the scanning is completed. So how do we do so? We use the delay activity. So the delay of 5 seconds looks good. Once that is completed, what am I going to do is I need to close this tab. So since this is a new tab that we have opened by ourselves, UiPath doesn't know that it needs to close it. But if there were no tab and we were just referring this one particular URL, it automatically gets closed. You don't need to explicitly close this main tab. But the ones that we are opening after our program has run, we need to kind of highlight the same. So what I'm going to do is, again, I need a click activity. So I can click on the close button, clear value indicated on the system. So what I'm going to do is mark this close, keep my anchor as the new tab. Target and anchors are okay. Let's confirm and let's save the same. I'm going to delete the output quickly so that it's cleaner for us to read. And I'm going to close the browser. Let's run to make sure that all our activities are correct. So first we open the browser. We'll go to the circular that matches with the date today. We'll type in the path, we'll save it, and we need to wait until the scanning is completed. And then we close this particular browser. Perfect. Is there any other circular that's released after today? No. So the system has now ended the program. So 30 elements were read, and as you can see, the conditions for them did not meet. One thing that I've noticed on the website is that the circulars are published in the increasing order. So if you are on today, which is 17th of July, so any circulars that are after 17 will always be published at the top. You don't have to search it at the bottom. So it is automatically sorted. So there is no point of reading more circulars again and again. So what I'm going to do is that once it enters the else loop where it says condition did not meet because it's earlier than today, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit the loop because there is no point of running the loop again and again as it's in a chronological order. The latest circulars are anyways at the top. So once you figure those out, you are fine. You don't need to read the whole circular again and again. So that's why I'm going to exit the loop and save my time. So before we run, as you notice that there are too many conditions not met, and because of the reason that I just explained. So let's avoid that and I'm going to run. This will save our time. Okay. And yep, the execution has completed much faster than rather than checking all the conditions that did not meet. Well, this is a classic example of surface automation. How we interacted with the browser. We just highlighted and it quickly turned up. If you notice, I did not give anywhere Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. It understood the application by itself and it opened it up. Right now, this is the best case where the application is opening up quickly. But in case if you think that the application takes time to load, you can use all these options that are there on the right, which tell you about if you want to introduce a delay after you have opened the window. If the window is opening in just a particular resolution, if you want to maximize it, you have more and more options to do so. Also, if you want to open an incognito or private window, that is without logging any activity that you are doing, all these options are available here. Again, we have not added exception handling because this is just a use case that we are looking at, but it's an excellent use case where you reduce all the clerical work of just downloading a circular. Well, I hope this use case has helped you, and you can modify this further to suit your needs, like emailing the circular at the end of the day or sending a message out that, hey, no new circulars have come into picture. Well, you can enhance this more and more and reach out to me in case of any queries.
Thank you for watching the video. If you have any queries or recommendations, please post them into the comment section.